Hey, what's up, everybody? This your favorite coach, Coach E, and I want to take the time to say thank you to everybody who showed love and support to every podcast, but especially the last one. Man, the feedback and the love was crazy. So shout out to Josh Hayes for coming on the show and just blessing us with the nuggets in the conversation, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. We're gonna have to run that one back. But on this next podcast, we do have somebody special. The man himself, Jarius Wright. So, man, please, just like you did on the last one, leave your feedback, your comments, good, bad, whatever. We welcome it all. So, appreciate you, man. And stay tuned. And, man, we got some crazy interviews coming up. I never thought that it would go direction that it's going. So thank you to everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Most definitely. Ro Johnson, I got you. Coach Bernard, all you guys who did reach out, man, I appreciate you. Thank you. Y'all stay blessed. Coach E. Yes, sir. What's up? What's up with it, man? It's your favorite coach, Coach E, and I'm here with my guy.
Yes, sir. It's Dogs, man.
And, man, we got a special guest. The one and only. What you got, Dogs? Let's take time.
Yes, sir. Hey, this legendary right here.
Yes, sir. The all-time leading. What we say? What was we gonna say? What we say? We were gonna say? Receiver.
Hey, he athlete. We call him athlete.
The athlete, the WR himself, Coach J Wright.
Yes,
How you
sir.
doing today, sir?
Good, man. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yes, sir. Doss.
Yep.
You the football guy, man.
Yes, sir.
Before I go into fan mode, I'm gonna let you lead. Man, because I'm gonna ask everything that has nothing to do with nothing. So, what you got for?
All right, so y'all, if y'all don't know, I went to Silver Hills in 2015, so alumni had to represent. We in the building, and it did not look like this when I was here. We got a new facility. We got a whole bunch of things going on. We got a new coaching staff. Shout out to Coach Hull. And there's a lot of things going on that we trying to bring awareness to. So we salute Coach Wright for even coming out here.
Yes,
First
sir.
question I gotta ask: what made you come to Silver Hills?
Well, I want to start by saying I stay in North Little Rock, which is 10 minutes down the road. But while I was at Whitehall last year, Silver Hills plays Whitehall Junior High, and I just seen some of the athletes and some of the things that the school had to offer. And Coach Hull, once Coach Hull got the job, he asked me to come along and help along the way. And like I said, I seen some of the athletes, and I wanted to get a chance to help develop some of these players around here.
Already, okay, I heard that. All right, how was Whitehall last year?
We weren't great, but we competed in a lot of games, and it was a new coaching change down there at the time when I came along. One of my best friends, R.I.P.
Yeah,
Long live.
Yeah. So we weren't great, but we were building something nice, and they're doing a good job this year.
man, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you talking about?
Yeah, Coach.
Yeah.
Let's say the name, man. Rest in peace.
Yeah, right. Rest in peace, Ryan Mallett.
Ryan Mallett, man. Yeah. Man, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So that's how you landed down, or you was already there?
No, that's exactly how I landed down there. I wasn't even sure that I even wanted to get into coaching yet. I was going to, kind of slow play it and take my time getting in there. But Ryan came by the house, and he was like, he was at Mountain Home.
So, yeah, I remember that Mountain Home.
So he actually came to me. He was like, I'm going to interview for like 2 or 3 jobs down there. If I get a job, I want you to come on. So I think it was Maumelle, Jacksonville, and Whitehall. And he interviewed for all 3, ended up getting the Whitehall job. So he came in, he was like, I'm starting, this spring. We only going to have maybe 1 or 2 other coaches. He's like, whether you decide to do it or not, I want you to come down here, see if you like it. And if you like it, come on and coach. And he already knew me. So he knew once I went down there and got into it that I wasn't going to be able to, turn back from it.
So why you didn't drive down to Mountain Home?
I don't know. That ain't the place we really go.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Man, Ross, you got something? Doss, you got something?
Dang, what was I gonna say? So what actually made you take the leap into coaching? Because I know it's a lot of people that's right now. I'm in the same boat as I kind of want to do it, but I got some work to do. So what made you take that leap to actually do it?
Well, while I was at home, kind of retired from my NFL season, didn't really want to do that anymore. But I still love the game. Man, I mean, Doss, you see me every Friday. You see how excited I am for the players, how I run up and down the sideline with the guys like I'm still the age. So I still love the game. I still get that feeling when a game comes along. I still feel like I'm about to play, but I'm coaching now. So I still got that feeling. I was like, what better place to do or what better place to coach than a high school where I can help build kids and get them to that level that I made it to, or at least give them the opportunity to get to that level. And high school is, I would say, like the most rawest version of the kids. When they get to college, they've kind of been defined a little bit, or they might even think they know everything at that level. And at college, and at the NFL, of course, those are the best of the best. So I wanted to help develop kids and give them what they need to be ready for the next level, not only on the football field, but also outside of football, and help them become young men.
I heard that, Coach.
So let's take a walk down memory lane. You are from Fordyce. I'm just playing. I ain't going to mess with you like that. I'm joking. It's a Fordyce and Warren thing. That's why I had to joke with him, but I didn't want to take it too far. I want to jump off it. Warren, Arkansas. Rich tradition in football, excellence. That's one city that does not play about football. Friday night lights. Let's talk about the beginnings. Little League, training, all these things, your childhood. How was it like growing up in Warren, Arkansas? And let's walk up to your Little League experience.
Well, down there you eat, you sleep, you breathe football.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it was. And then when you have a coach down there like Bo Hembree, somebody who runs a system to get playmakers the ball, that kind of fit into, to what I've done best, or what I do best, I guess I should say. So just even in the 7th grade, you're looking up at the high school guys who's doing, what you want to do, and you're seeing the things you want to be a part of. So that makes you work even harder to become a part of that, if that makes sense.
No, exactly. Yeah.
It's like I got to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that. We sent guys to Tennessee also, and so when you see that and see that it could be done, that only motivates you even more. When I was in Pee Wee, I played Pee Wee football in Hermitage.
Okay.
Because they had a travel team, and that's what I want. And also they did kickoff returns. So even at that young age, I want to do kickoff returns. I want to travel to the next city and play everybody. And at that time, we were doing that, and I stood out. So I realized at that time, like I got a talent.
That's dope.
How much did Bo Hembree? How much involved was he with the? Because y'all have Warren Middle School, or is it? So it's actually a system.
Well, it was elementary at first. Well, when I was down there, it was elementary, and then my 9th grade year, we actually moved up to the high school. So it was 9th through 12th, and then you had like the middle school situation.
No, but I'm saying the middle school was actually Warren Middle School, or was it something different?
Oh no, it was it was Warren Middle.
Okay, so y'all had to connect the system.
Yeah.
How was he involved with y'all? Did he interact with y'all? Did y'all try to build like a system to prepare you for high school ball?
We from 7th grade on up, we ran the same place.
Okay.
Everything was the same. Yeah, everything was the same. So by the time you made it to high school,
you was already
you knew
prepared.
the system. Yeah,
Gotcha.
You knew the
Okay.
system.
When it comes to football, what was your original position? Were you an athletic running back who turned into a receiver? Like, how did you end up into a receiver?
It's a funny story. I've always played receiver my whole life. Well, I started out in Pee Wee playing running back. Honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I started out as a running back. Then in 7th grade, I played a little running back, played a little receiver. But then my best friend was a quarterback. So by 8th and 9th grade, I was a receiver. And then I would move to quarterback sometimes, and he was a quarterback, and he'll move to receiver sometimes. So, we just kind of worked it like that. But that was my best friend, so he was going to throw me the ball.
He going to throw the ball?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he knew for a fact that, I was going to be where he expected me to be, different things like that. And that's really how I built my name is doing the right things. You don't always have to be the most athletic. You don't always have to be the fastest. And even though I was, adding being in the right spot at the right time, it's hard to defend that.
Okay, so like when you plan and stuff like that, you got all these different events. You got 7-on-7s and all that. Then you make it up to the varsity level. At what point did you know that, all right, I could do this? Like I'm that guy.
Ninth grade.
Dang,
We
okay.
finished our season. Well, that's the story that led up to
okay.
how I really realized like okay, like I'm kind of nice at this.
Yeah.
So ninth grade, I had a heck of a season as a ninth grader, of course, playing against my level guys. After the season was over, we moved up to the senior high, and I've never played safety before, but Bo put me out there as a starting safety. So that, for Bo to do something like that, a guy that knows athletes, a guy that knows players, he thought that I could play. So after I seen that, I was like, okay, maybe I got it. I got torched. I'm gonna be honest. I got torched. I mean, I made some plays, but it wasn't my type of game. I'm used to having good. It wasn't my type of game. But at that time, it helped me get the game speed. So when I came back as a sophomore the next year, I didn't even play receiver. I was a quarterback in the DB. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cornerback was my first position that I got a chance to play at. And I was a super sophomore that year. And I also scored touchdowns because, Bo would put me in on offense and I would do some zone read stuff before people even really knew what had hit them. People wasn't used to the zone read and the quarterback actually reading guys and keeping the ball around the corner and stuff like that. So that's what really made me hot.
Okay, let me backtrack 1 second. I caught some slack, man, a couple of weeks ago about a statement I made. So I'm going to ask you, because I didn't really mean it the way I meant it, but it came out that way. Little League football, how much do you feel, how much of an impact did it play as far as in your development and even with you watching it today? How much credit do you give to Little League football outside of it just introducing it to the sport to the kids, as far as what you see and what you experience? What you got for me?
Well, from my experience, I mean, Little League football was the world to me. Like you said, it was an introductory into football. But not only that, it taught me the game. Like, kids that really want to learn the game, if they pay attention in Little League football, you have coaches out there that's trying to teach the right things and do the right things in that aspect of it. So, I mean, you learn how to tackle right. You learn how to run the ball. You learn how to protect the ball. You learn how to pass. You learn how to catch. And you're actually going against other people instead of just doing it in your yard. Because things change when the body is out there. When somebody's on the other side of the football, things change. So I love Pee Wee football, and I think it's a great, great thing for people or kids who want to play. It's also a way to get kids out the house and get them off their iPads and different things like that. Pee Wee might not be for everybody. And that's fine. And parents might not want them being tackled until they're older. And, I get that aspect of it too. But I think it could also be a really, really good thing if kids do it the right way and use it the right way.
Because, and I stand on what I said. I just hate that it came out the way it came out. I hate to backtrack. But my statement was, I don't really remember football when I was younger. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I was a basketball kid. I played football, but I don't remember that. But my argument was, when I look at Pee Wee today, I was saying that up to you around 12U, most of these teams only run the ball.
Yeah, true.
And in Central Arkansas, you have more athletes than you do actual football kids. A lot of the bigger kids are lazy, and I ain't trying to be negative, but it's not till you go out to the smaller towns like the Warrens, the Cabots, or whatever, who actually have those big, naturally big kids who want to hit something. So my argument was, in today's state of Little League football, you see a lot is more so for just the running back, the studs, and offensive linemen. Now, defense, all kids learn to hit, but I'm saying you got a lot of coaches who don't even have time to teach the blocking properly, and they just handing the ball to the studs who you can naturally find in the neighborhoods. And that, because I ain't gonna lie, my son play receiver. I've been showing some of his highlights. He's nice. And for a while, he was getting kind of left behind a little bit, and he's caught. Like, he 9 years old, catching on two people, he can go in there and get it.
Yep.
Catching with his hand. I'm talking about one of the nicest. And I'm not saying it because he's my son, I can show you the highlights. But for a minute, he kind of like fell behind because You just run the ball.
And you're 100% correct.
It's starting at 15, and you running the inside zone.
Yep. Hey, trust me. When I was in Pee Wee, it was sweep left, sweep right to me. I get it. I was that guy, and like you say, I probably should have been that receiver. I was built more like a receiver, but since I was fast, I was a good Pee Wee player. We gonna get the ball to him. That's just what it was. And you are right. Some teams can't throw. Some teams don't even try to throw. And you're right about the blocking schemes. They don't understand the blocking scheme. It's block the guy in front of me type thing. Yeah,
because when you look at some of these, it'd be like two big kids, and then you have like the smallest kids on the line. Because for one, it's a lot of teams. I'm not gonna go into the 2 minutes. It's a lot of teams in Little Rock. We already dividing talent. So now people just say, hey, man, bring your kid there. And you see some like the smallest kids on the line, and they don't have time to teach them how to block. Like, man, it's unfortunate. So I wasn't trying to say that Little League doesn't necessarily develop kids. But what I was saying is, if some of y'all get up and go to these 7th grade games when they leave Little League football, the coaches is on the field begging these kids, man, son, what you do this? And I'm like, some of these kids fell through the cracks. So that was my argument, was it'd be a lot of pride going on when this is really about who can recruit the best and not necessarily about who can coach the best. If you got a stud and it's like, man, on my son's 10U team, the coach's son, like AP, he's a bowling ball. He don't lose no yards. If the block, I don't know, he can just keep, like, he'll break, man, I'm not exaggerating, he can break 5 tackles. But, that ain't nothing you teach. That's something that
he born with that.
He born and his daddy worked with him. So it's just like, man, when you got something like that, I don't care. A lot of these kids be lost out there playing with butterflies. Yeah. And then too, not to mention, not to dominate the conversation, but this is football now is starting to be used as, my son doesn't have a father or anything else to do. This will toughen him up. Man, I had to talk to some kids one time. Their mama brought them out there in the field. They were big, bro. Like, they could. If they keep growing, they are going to make millions of dollars if they stay on track. They hated the idea of not being able to play Fortnite and coming out to practice.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah,
my sons need to be out here. So I'm not knocking Little League football. My kids are career Little League football players. They've been in the system 4 years now. I was just saying all the commotion and the hating and the talking that goes on amongst the coaches and the arrogance. I'm like, bro, listen. Some of y'all are one stud off getting hurt from this just going down, this ship going down. And that's all I was saying. So that's why I wanted to make sure I do my due diligence and giving you the opportunity. Somebody who's played at higher levels way than me. And just ask you, what was your perspective on Little League football? Does it help? I'm not denying if it helps, but, just the current state of it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I do think it helps in the aspect of introducing them to football in general. And, maybe – those kids will get off Fortnite next year and run a little That's more, crazy.
He said Fortnite.
Man, they was hurt. They was hurt, bro. They hated the idea. Their mama said, please talk to my son in the middle of practice. That's crazy. Warren, how much pressure was it on? How much pressure being from Warren and being an athlete is it on you to continue, playing football? In most of these movies, the police let you out of trouble, son. I need you out there in that field. Or the teacher give you a A. I mean, because, in them Friday night lights town, that's important.
Yeah, that's how it worked, yeah.
How much pressure was it on you to continue to play football, not to get in trouble and things like that?
It was a lot of pressure. Just as soon as your name get out there and everything, everybody's starting to look at you. Everybody's starting to talk, especially in small towns. Everybody's starting to talk about you regardless of what you do. Everybody's not going to like you. And you got to realize that the hard way sometimes. It's a lot of haters out there, and everybody didn't like me. They might not even knew me, or they might have did heard something from somebody else type thing. But everybody didn't like me. Everybody didn't cheer. Everybody didn't clap when I scored. You know what I'm saying? So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Exactly.
I thought it would be the other way around. No small, like a town like Warren. Like,
the people that were behind me, they were behind me. They didn't listen to the chatter or the whispers and the stuff like that. It's like that little game you used to play in elementary. Like, I started to tell you a secret, and by the time it made it back to me, it said, it was something completely different.
By the time it got to the fourth person,
man, no telling what they said.
Dang.
But it. Not gonna say it was a lot of pressure to make it. I put that pressure on myself.
Okay.
Being from a small town, all I wanted was opportunity. And that's all you can ask for out here in this world is opportunity.
Facts.
No doubt. And so, how did your recruiting process go? What was that like?
Recruiting was crazy.
Like from your first letter to all the way to you making the decision to go to Fayetteville.
So back when I was coming out, you couldn't even get offered until you were a junior. So the first day Arkansas could offer me, they sent the offer down. They recruited me as an athlete. Houston Nutt, man, he could sell water to a well.
Yeah.
He hyped my head up. Man, you can play both ways. You know, you can do the wild hog. You see Darren, you can do the wild hog formation, all that. So I was like, shoot, I'm on board. You know what I'm saying? I get to play offense and defense, and they've had a guy that was doing it all, well, that has done it before and different things like that. I was like, okay, Houston, I'm on board. But then, unfortunately, he left and went to Ole Miss. Well, that changed everything.
How deep were you? Did he leave before you signed, or he left?
He left before I signed. But it was also, I could have went anywhere. I had like over 36 offers. A lot of SEC schools.
Top three. Give me your top three.
I was just going to ask that.
Yeah, give me a top three. Arkansas being one, of course.
Arkansas, Texas Tech, and LSU probably. LSU or Oklahoma.
Ooh.
Man, we got to see Houston Nutt.
Ooh.
LSU was it, but then, yeah.
Ooh, okay.
How did that make you feel when Houston Nutt announced he was leaving? Like, was it too late to go to LSU? Or, what were some of your emotions when you found out he wasn't going to be there?
Well, the first thing, you don't want to overreact too quick about anything. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to see, with Houston Nutt leaving, I wanted to see who was getting the job. That was the most important thing for me. One of the guys that did the best thing that helped out my recruiting, it was Coach Tim Horton.
Okay.
He was a running back coach there at the time. He played at Arkansas. He broke, I think, the punt return record at Arkansas. So he came down to Warren and he's like, hey, I don't know who the next coach going to be. I don't even know if I'm going to have my job with the next coach. But I think the right decision for you is coming to Arkansas. That was his exact words to me.
Okay.
And it made a lot of sense. But at the time, Texas Tech was recruiting me really hard. They threw the ball. They had Michael Crabtree, who had just won the Biletnikoff. I actually took my recruiting visit to Texas Tech. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. But Texas Tech was 14 hours away. That was really the kicker for a kid like me who hadn't been away from home like that. Texas is too close to have to drive or have to go 14 hours away. So I was like, it was really, really on the edge. And I ended up talking to Joe Adams. And we said, well, me and him made a deal. We said, if you go to Arkansas, I'll go to Arkansas. So Joe ended up he was committed to go to USC. I don't know if y'all remember. He was he was going to USC as an athlete too. So the morning of signing day, Joe ended up signing his letter of intent before me. And Bo walked in the office. He was like, "Hey, Joe signed to go to Arkansas. So you know what that means for you." So that's my story about So
that was the first LeBron and D-Wade conversation.
Yeah, for real.
I got you.
That's what's up. So like now that you coaching the high schools, all right. So we know with the recruiting process, they like to butter you up, tell you everything. I remember going through that process too, and then getting to school and it's something totally different or things you're not aware of. So to like your former players, your current players, and future players, can you like give them a little inside scoop of how that's gonna go and what they should look for, or something like that, as far as recruiting go?
Well, and some of the new things too.
Yeah, I was kind of like you said. It's it's kind of tricky and it's kind of hard to figure out because, like you say, they tell you everything you want to hear and they make it sound real, real good. And the thing that you can do now that you couldn't do, especially when I was there, is you can leave. You can start your recruiting process. You said something, you ain't living by what you said. I could just go to the school I was going to go to before anyway. They probably still want me over there anyway. So that's where, back when I came out, wherever you went, you were stuck.
Yeah.
And the coach controlled, whether you went somewhere else or not, or even where you went. Because you could leave and he'll let you go, but he'll tell you, like, I'm not letting you go to another SEC school, so you might as well find somewhere else.
Yeah.
Dang.
Man, it's actually, I'm glad you asked that, Dawes. Scholarships. A lot of people don't know, and I don't know if that's a thing now, but when we was younger, we thought there was a such thing as full rides. We didn't know that every year your coach had to, reactivate your scholarship. So if you did something to piss him off, he could pretty much, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
He can cut it.
Yeah. If he don't want you on that scholarship no more, he'll take it.
Yeah, and I was hearing stories about certain players being on their senior year, and if he needed to make room for somebody else, he'll cut your scholarship out before you graduated and kind of leave you out there to dry after the football season.
I hadn't heard of anybody doing that, but, I mean, I'm not putting it past anybody either.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know that, man. We used to think that scholarships were 4-year full rides. When they give it to you, you're there, but we didn't know every year he had.
No, you got to earn that scholarship every year.
Every year. I didn't know that, man. Yeah, well, I knew that up to here recently. The locker room. I know you say you wasn't there for Houston Nutt, but I know you was in the locker room to hear the stories. What were some of the complaints or positives or whatever it was between the different locker rooms? Or when Bobby might do this and say, and you hear the man, it wasn't like this last year. We was allowed. Was there a different aura of discipline and respect from what you was hearing? Like, what were some of those stories and some of those things you heard?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Bobby was, I'll start with Houston. Houston was more of a player's coach. So he would try to take care of the players as much as possible and different things like that. But when Bobby got there, Bobby was more about business. He had, you got to think about it. He just came from an NFL team. Remember, he was with the Falcons. Yeah, he was with the Falcons halfway through that year and left them and came to us. So he was still, in his business mentality. So everything was handled as business. And, he created that culture within our locker room, more of a business mindset. And, that's what I think the biggest move was. It went from, players could do different things and have more fun to where Bobby was more serious about what was going on. And he had to be, because he had to be able to take this Arkansas program and make it the best it could be with as fast as he could.
Facts. We don't have to say those names. We're not here for no major backlash against you. Did anybody lose their job for something minor that they made that got by with Houston Nutt, from what you heard? Did Bobby kind of come through the door with an iron fist? And you answered that somewhat, but to your knowledge, did anybody kind of lose their job based off him coming through the door and kind of pushing,
For the most part, he ended up keeping most of the guys. If they didn't leave on their own, from what I understand, that's all I can tell you is from, because, it's even stuff that I don't see. But from what I saw, he kept everybody at least for a year to see, what could they work with him? Could they fit his style? But anytime you get a new coaching staff or a change like that, they're always going to bring some of their guys with them.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is, because you have expectations of those guys already. Like I'm with Doss. Just say if I leave, well, I know Doss already. I know what Doss is about already. I don't have to worry about Doss. So that's kind of what I seen the most, is him just bringing in some of his guys with him. I don't know if the coaches wanted to leave.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. You're right. I meant player-wise. You remember the Bulls? Okay. What was that, Brandon Bullsworth moving?
Yeah.
Remember Houston Nutt was about to take all the seniors out? And Bullsworth said, come on, please, just give us one chance to show you, because he was really finna get rid of them so he can start his era. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, I remember.
And that's why I asked you that.
Okay, I got you. I can answer that question better. So, Petrino didn't kick anybody off. That's the thing. He didn't kick anybody off, but he made it hard for you.
You had to earn your keep.
Oh man, you really had to love football to stay there. And he made, that's coach thing. They not run you off, but they make it hard on you to see who really loves football and who really wants to be there. And we started a lot of freshmen, when we got there. He understood that we had older players, but he also understood that we need to get these younger guys ready to play. And, we got kicked in the mouth a couple times in my freshman year. But those growing moments that I learned my freshman year, that made it better for my sophomore year. And that's when we made it to another ball game. We won the ball game.
Okay. So your time on the hill, what was like one of your biggest moments or moments that you would say like you can remember forever?
Oh man, I got a lot of them.
What stand out to you? What do you value? Which moment you value the most?
Man, that's a tough question. I mean, anytime I got a chance to step out in front of those Arkansas fans, man, it just meant so much to get a chance to, being a home state kid from small town Arkansas, coming and getting a chance to play for your home state, represent your home state, your family, the name on the front of your jersey, and it just meant a lot, that opportunity in general. So anytime I got a chance to come out there and do what I love, football is the game I love.
Yeah.
Arkansas is a state I love. So I love doing it, love scoring touchdowns for the state. And, it was funny. I got asked in an interview the other day. They was like, you broke a lot of records. He's like, did you ever know you were close to those records? And I was like, no. I just came out and I played every day as hard as I could. And I would have never known if just sitting down with reporters like this. And they was like, did you know you're such and such away from breaking this record and such away from breaking this record? And I was like, I never looked at it.
That's crazy. Dang. Okay, so from your time being there to now, the in-state recruiting hasn't been really a thing. So I just want your opinion on that. And do you feel like that that it holds weight to actually start within house first?
You should absolutely start in Arkansas first. That's something I'm really big about that, about recruiting your state. That's exactly what Bobby did. When Bobby first got that job, he recruited Arkansas hard. I mean, and then when you look around, I mean, Ryan was at Michigan, but he was considered an Arkansas kid. He recruited me, Joe Adams, Greg Childs, Chris Gregg, DeAnthony Curtis, Jim Youngblood. It was a couple more from Camden. Dennis Johnson. We all were Arkansas kids. That was just to name a few. We were all Arkansas kids.
Edwin Robinson.
Yeah.
I told him I couldn't play. I was busy.
But just recruiting the state is always big, and that's what, as that group, that's one thing we talked about. Why would we go somewhere else and make another state good when we can stay home and build this same thing here at Arkansas? And that was important to us, and it's always more important to Arkansas kids what goes on here at Arkansas. And when you let you let some of your best kids go out of state, and that can be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So, 2-part question: in-state recruiting. Do you feel like it's an Arkansas? And you answered it, but Arkansas's athletes have been known not to be able to be up to par. That's what some say. So do you feel like that plays a part in the mentality of coaches doing in-state recruiting, with you being next door to Texas and
Florida?
All these states. Because, man, I see a lot of schools who be winning championships, but a lot of them don't have D1 type. Matter of fact, I'm be honest with you. A lot of schools that have D1 type players don't win.
Yep.
And then that's the ones true. who are winning, they say they don't have D1 for PA. They never get a big recruit to come out of there, but they're winning, and they say it's the system or whatever. So I'm saying, based off your knowledge, does that play part on the far as the mindset of coaches, the image that Arkansas athletes have, that they're maybe, they're not D1 material, they're too small, or they're in weak conferences? Because Arkansas doesn't really get the credit it deserves, in my opinion, to be a football state. Like when you go to Texas, man, I thought I was passing colleges sometimes while I was looking at those stadiums and the clout and the love that they get out there. So what is your mindset about marketing, promoting our players, just everything? Do you feel like that plays a part in why there's no in-state recruit?
There's good players everywhere, man.
Yeah.
And if you can't find them in Arkansas, then you ain't looking.
That's
tripping.
That's just that's my opinion on it. I let me recruit for them if they can't recruit. because I see good players every week in 6A football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's just what I see. I saw it last year at 5A football, but I don't want to talk about anybody or anything like that. So.
Well, that's why I asked you, because it's always that stigma that it's like an uphill battle. Like, man, you hear about the Walker Wrights. He got that look. A Russell out of Benton, the running back. Like, those guys, you know, it's almost like you have to be something that they can't refuse for them to notice you. And
that's crazy to me.
Yeah, and I even think about you can go to any other state, them seeing college coaches like a common thing. But when we seen last year when Sam Pittman went to Mills, man, you thought a UFO landed in the middle of the football field. People went crazy because that's just something you don't see here in Arkansas. You know, it's like a rare sight. And so that's why I asked you that. It's like Arkansas don't really never get that credit. Now, basketball, they starting to turn it up a little bit. You know, we starting to get that credit.
Yeah, and you see the in-state player, must have been recruiting in-state.
Yeah.
What you got your boy out of in Benton. You got your Jay Sean down there in Whitehall.
Mm-hmm.
Some other kid. And I don't even follow basketball, and I see this stuff. You know what I'm saying? We definitely have to turn up our recruiting in football in the state. That's just, you know, that's just what it is. If you can get the best kids in the state, and that was Bobby's thing. If you can get the best kids in Arkansas, and Arkansas will be good.
Okay, two-part question. Let me wrap up that question I just asked you. Do you feel like 7-on-7 is going to bring the AAU feel to Arkansas, to where coaches will have more highlight tapes to look at them and we'll start hearing about them more and draw the attention to football the same way AAU basketball brings the attention to Arkansas in basketball?
Well, it's tough with the AAU football thing because the best kids aren't even playing together. You know, the best kids are divided within the state.
So the 7-on-7 is divided. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
So you feel like they should cut some of these teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or divide. I mean, or put some teams. And I know people don't get along enough to do that. Just off what I know, but you know, you might have 3 of the best kids on one team. Then you go 3 of the best kids on another team. Then you got 3 of the best kids on another team. You know, we got 7 teams in Arkansas, but Arkansas ain't even that big. Ain't big enough to have 17.
Gotcha.
That's just my thing. If just say Arkansas had 2 or 3 teams and all the best kids played on them, you would see Arkansas competing in these 7-on-7. I mean, winning some of these 7-on-7 tournaments.
I like that.
That's a strong point, right?
That is a strong point.
That's the problem. We just dividing the kids up, and there's so many teams, it's hard to be good. Because you can't tell me that every kid on every team is the best player.
On which? My last part, my second part to that question. You said y'all got smacked your first year there.
Yep.
But how was that a struggle for Bob? How much of a struggle was it for Bobby to transition this team from a known running team who could pretty much, and I no disrespect to Matt Jones, and I love what they done. I appreciate everything they done. But there's no secret that Houston Nutt just wanted somebody back there who can just make a pass here and there, but who can run that ball. So how was it transitioning that team from a known running team with running personnel to you, Joe Adams, and you know, Greg Child?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like how was that? What was that struggle like to becoming a complete football team?
You know, it was a struggle that first year, and that's kind of why. I mean, we played a lot of close games, lost a lot of tight games. But like I said, we understood what that was building to, and it took us that full year to really understand what he was trying to get done, what he was trying to accomplish. But we practiced so hard, so much, and we throughout the summer 7-on-7s every single day, running routes with the quarterbacks every single day, to where when we came back our sophomore year, man, it was almost like night and day to us. And as you see, as we got older, we just continued to get better.
One year y'all was close to playing the national championship.
Yeah.
Who did we lose to?
LSU. It was the last game of the year. It was LSU. And LSU and Alabama played in the Natty that year.
The Natty, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we was 1, 2, and 3.
That's crazy.
How did that? What was that sting like in the locker room?
You know, it was tough because, I mean, we jumped out on them 14-0 in the game that we basically had to win. And, we always play LSU close. But I think they scored 40 unanswered points after we jumped out 14-0 on them.
Mm.
So it was tough, especially seeing after, I guess a couple weeks later, seeing that, they were going to let 2 SEC teams play in the national championship. And if we would have beat LSU, that would have been us. So that hurt even more. But at the same time, we got a chance to play in the Liberty Bowl. So, go to Jerry, play at a stadium we were used to playing at that was close to home. So we knew we were going to have a lot of fans against a K-State team who also was going to have a lot of fans. So we knew it was going to be a good game and a good atmosphere.
What year was that? Did we play Ohio? You was there with Ohio State?
Yeah, that was my junior year in the BCS Bowl. Yeah.
Oh.
Let's see. Nah, I ain't really.
I got plenty of questions.
Nah, I ain't. My stuff, let me see. Okay, I got one. So, boom, you get to the league. Let's talk about that. How was your experience in the league?
Let's talk about the preparation for it.
Yeah.
Like right before the league, when did you know, man, I could actually go to the league? When did the scout started talking, the agent? Let's talk about the whole process leading up to that, when you knew that this was about to be a real thing. Like, I don't have to go look for a job after this.
So my junior year, like I said, we went to the BCS Bowl. I had a pretty good year, decent year, and I was like, it's like maybe I might have a real shot at this. So, my senior year, just in the off season, I'm working out as hard as possible. I'm doing everything I need to do. Come back my senior year, and it's like a light went off. Every single game, Tyler Wilson throwing me the ball. Bobby got on his play sheet, get the ball to 4. Different things like, I could be the leading receiver here. Didn't know that I would end up leading the whole SEC. So that just goes to show, just hard work. It was my hard work what got me there, what gave me that opportunity.
And not to cut you off, but I really want to take the time to appreciate what you did. Let's talk about the receivers that was actually doing their thing in the SEC at that time when you was leading it. Give me 4 or 5 of them.
I probably couldn't name 4 or 5 of them, but but the best were at Tennessee.
Tennessee. And Alabama had
they had
what's the boy name?
The little short receiver. I can't. Man, it was so long.
You
ago.
know who you are.
Dang.
It was so long ago.
But no, go ahead. My bad. I mean, but that's big. That's just the SEC is football. Yeah, that's the football conference. So for you to be leading it, that was big.
Yeah, it was. But like I say, I mean, it was just my hard work, and hard work pays off for sure. It might not always pay off when you want it to, but if you continue to work hard, even when it's not paying off, it'll eventually come back for you.
So.
Okay.
The agents started hitting the NFL scouts, the agents, they started hitting you up around what time?
So my junior year, actually, Bobby wouldn't even really allow, interviewers and media to come in and watch practice and stuff like that. So he wasn't allowing a lot of guys in at this time.
Is that a regular thing?
It's the coach's preference.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But Bobby wanted to keep us focused. So. Looking back on it, you kind of understand more. And these days, they make you allow media like in practices and stuff like that. But back then, Bobby wasn't allowing a lot of people in, giving people access to us. I guess that's the word. That's the words you really use. But you would see guys walking around, different things like that, with different NFL teams on their shirts and things like that. And then the agents would come and. So we even had like a professional. They had a day or a time to have professional meetings with agents at the school though, where they could see and kind of manage. I guess you would say manage the agents. But it was. I mean, it's just a crazy process because it's kind of like recruiting. You don't know who telling you the truth or who not telling you the truth. Yeah. You don't know who good for you, who not good for you. So it's just a tough situation and figuring all that stuff out. You still basically a kid trying to figure out who's best for you or what's best for your career.
Yeah.
Dang.
NFL draft night. Where were you?
I was at home back in Warren. I did draft day with the family and a few close friends. I did something like that. I really didn't. I'm not a real rah guy. So I just wanted to be around family type thing. Didn't know.
Bo was there?
Yeah. Oh, you know Bo.
Shout out to Bo.
Yeah, for sure. Bo was like a second dad to me. He was, he was always there, type thing. Yeah, and that's also what made me want to get into coaching, and that's what makes me coach the way I do. Having a coach in my life like he was, just makes you look up to those type of guys, and I want to be the coach that the guys look up to, type thing.
Okay.
When they called your name, what were some of your emotions, and at that moment, give me those feelings. Was you rich for life in your mind? Did you already buy your house in your mind? I mean, was Cuz and them already ready? Cuz, what happened when they called your name?
Well, of course, you're happy. All your family there. It's been a moment that you've waited for your whole life. I can remember being in, second, third grade, turning in my paper of what you want to be, and me putting a pro athlete down. I remember that from all the way being a kid. So for, just your dreams to come true, your name to be called on national TV saying you're getting drafted in the NFL from small town Arkansas, man, I can't put the feelings I can't put it into words. But it was, of course, it was one of the greatest moments in my life. And at that time, my mindset went to, now it's time to go to work type thing. Yeah, it's time to earn my spot, because my whole life I was always told, like, you too small to play college football. You too small to play in the NFL. I was always told I was too small, or how many guys did make it to the NFL. You get the numbers breakdown from high school to college. Yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with
it. Yeah. How quick was that plane waiting on you when your name got drafted?
Well, the next day, they get you out of there. They fly you in. You kind of get they let you know, hey, this is your new locker room, this your meeting room, all this. They let you know when you supposed to report, what weight you should report at, type thing. All that, all the logistics, basically.
So all them little, like, when they get in the contract and all that, the little nuances like that, they play into that. Like, you got to be a certain waist size. You got to.
All that is very important to them. Very important. Yeah.
How much weight did you have to lose a game to be a starting wide receiver? I mean, I know that's big. I mean, basically riding the question. Like, did you have to gain some weight?
Well, they wanted me to. I mean, I think I was 182 at the combine. I finished my senior year, I was 175. So, of course, they thought I was small, so they wanted to put more weight on me. So I guess I got up to like 189, 192, and I was there throughout 8 years, my whole 8 years of my career. That was basically my playing weight, anywhere from like 189 to 192.
All right, yeah, we skipped one thing. We got to show some love. We talked about this too. Walking in that locker room and Kevin Williams being there, a fellow Arkansan, and it was many greats, and this was the year after the Brad Favre experience. Man, you I ain't gonna lie, man, you be walking into some situations, man. What was that locker room like? For one, let's talk about Kevin. A lot of people don't know, probably a future Hall of Famer, but he is in the ring of honor. Yeah, he's a well-known Viking, part of the Williams Wild. How was it there seeing your fellow Southeast Arcans and just, some of the things that y'all shared done, or just how do you make your process easier, and just the overall experience in that locker room?
Well, it was cool getting a chance to walk in and, seeing somebody. Of course, I didn't know him well, but, just somebody that you knew of and knew he was from 30 minutes down the road from where you were from. So that gave me a feeling of comfortability. And not only that, I was also drafted with my buddy Greg Childs.
Yeah.
So we both walk in there, and Kevin's in there. So you already know, two people already, and that's a feeling of comfortability because walking into a new environment, new guys that really don't care about you too much, until they get to know. But that's because they don't know you.
It's just people come and go every day.
Every day.
It's a business.
So you coming in as a 4th-round rookie. We don't know if you're going to be here or not. We don't know who you are. We don't know what you're about. So a lot of guys are not running up to you to shake your hand type thing. You know what I'm saying? But meeting Kevin, seeing the way he handled himself as a pro, definitely helped me learn how to handle myself and, the to do's and not do type thing. And Kevin greeted me, as soon as I walked in, just knowing, where I was from. And we know mutual people also. So, different things like that are always helps out.
And so was it like a big adjustment or something like that when you went from Warren to Fayetteville? You got all these people knowing who you are everywhere you go. Oh, it's J Wright. You got all that stuff going on. Was that a big adjustment for you?
It was a huge adjustment, but I'm a quiet guy.
Yeah.
I stay to myself a lot. So a lot of people didn't really see me around Fayetteville anyway because I was always hiding somewhere. That's just who I was, and that's who I am now. I come up here, I go home. That's just who go to work, handle my business, and go home. That's just kind of who I am as a person. So when I was out, you see different people, and they, that's Jarius Wright, or you hear it all the time. But me, I don't even act like I hear it. I'll hear it and just keep on walking or something like that.
Okay.
Oh, of course you don't regret how your career went. I mean, you did your thing. You had a successful NFL career. But now when you look at how much flash and charisma plays a part, and you understand the business side now, you just kind of said something interesting. Do you look back now and wish you had been more? Because, that kind of hurt my boy Kobe legacy. Mm-hmm. Kobe doesn't even get considered sometimes for the Jordan and LeBron debate because he wasn't a friend of the media. He wasn't marketable. So do you feel like that played a difference in you got drafted in the 4th round? Do you feel like if you had been a little more flashy, a little more outspoken, you feel like that because your numbers are 1st round?
Yeah.
We're not going to do that.
100%.
100%. Do you feel like they kind of hurt you a little bit just in your career a little bit? And when I say I hate to say hurt because you had a great career.
Yeah, no doubt.
But you get what I'm saying. Yeah. And I'm not saying being Dion either.
Yeah.
But, do you feel like you had been just a little more marketable? Do you feel like you would have been?
I never really thought about that. But, at the time that I was in, I guess social media was really just starting to take off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I really wasn't into social media like that, and I don't know if that really hurt me, but I know that probably would have helped me off the field as far as get more sponsors and stuff like that. But, some of the stuff you see and some of the stuff you see the kids tweeting and how people always try to bring up old tweets and stuff that people tweeted, stuff like that. So I almost, I think as that aspect, it worked out for me.
It worked out. Yeah.
Okay, let's fast forward a little bit. So you had your career in the NFL. You at the crib decided to coach. Boom, you come to Silver Hills. What is it looking like so far? What you seeing? Good, bad? Any takeaways? Any strong points of being in Central Arkansas?
Well, there's no better place to be than Central Arkansas. You can go down south where I'm from, and you can also go up north where I've been. So I've lived at every aspect, every part of Arkansas. Silver Hills, we have a lot of talent here, man. From 7th grade all the way through, we got a lot of talent. This year hadn't been the year we've wanted, but same way it was at Arkansas. When you learning a new system, it takes a full year. People might not want to hear it, but it takes at least a full year for everybody to understand and be on the same page. That's what it's all about. Everybody getting on the same page. On defense, all it takes is one really good player. But on offense, all 11 guys got to do their job at the same time. And until everybody, we're not there yet. That's the best way I could say that. We're not. One guy might mess up a play here. One guy might mess up a play there.
Yeah.
And if you do that, then every play is broken.
True.
That's a fact. Man, I ain't gonna lie, I still got some fan questions. Who were your favorite matchups in the NFL? Well, hold on. I got to steal something from a podcast. Who gave you your first welcome to the NFL jam on the line, and who gave your first welcome to the NFL hit when you caught the ball? Well, you was like, Lord have mercy.
I guess my first hit would have been it was my fourth preseason game, and like I say, when I got to Minnesota, we had Percy, so I was doing some of Percy plays, and I was running around like I was gonna get a sweep right, but you stop and you turn around and bubble back left, just to try to get the DB to run over top and throw it back the other way type thing. So we ran that play, but the DB wasn't buying. No, he wasn't buying when we was selling. So he was still there when I got back. But and that was one moment.
I see it in your face.
You knew. Oh, I knew what was about to happen.
What'd you say?
Yeah, come on, man. Let's get it over. But you couldn't not. I'm a rookie, so it's like I can't show that I'm scared. So I gotta still attempt to catch this ball, even though I'm about to get blown up.
Yeah,
and I tried. I can't say.
Jam against which cornerback hit you with a jam where you like, Lord, I ain't felt this in college?
I didn't really get jammed too much.
Okay.
In the
NFL,
NFL,
you just your feet like that, or you just saying you?
I remember I told you the story about my college career when I got jammed.
Yeah.
Man, tell the story.
I
don't know how much time you got. We good. Give us a quick story real quick, man. We want to hear it. Even if you got to edit it, simplify it. Give us a quick story.
So my freshman year, we were playing South Carolina in South Carolina.
Steve Spears?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they had Captain Munnerlin.
I don't know
if you remember.
I remember the name.
He played in the NFL 8 to 10 years somewhere. But they had Captain Munnerlin. And he was short and strong. So I come off the ball, think I'm about to shake him. I'm still young. Think I'm about to shake him. So I go to shake, and he just put both his hands, boom, hit me in the chest. And gave me whiplash a little bit. Damn. And it was after that game, I was like, this ain't gonna ever happen to me again, ever again. So I wasn't really out here just getting jammed. You know what I'm saying?
You made sure that.
Oh yeah, had to.
So your top 3 matchups?
One would be Richard Sherman, of course.
Rich Sherman. Okay.
Darius Slay.
Okay.
I got a chance to play him at Mississippi State when he was there and in the NFL.
Okay.
And Hayward. Can't remember his first name, but his last name was Hayward. He played cornerback for Vandy. He was drafted to Green Bay. He was more of a slot corner, though. That was somebody I seen. He was a very, very smart guy.
Okay.
How my boy said, hey, what differences did you really notice as far as in the coverages in the NFL and college? And I'm asking, of course, you would think that that's an obvious answer, but NFL and college share the same coaches.
Yeah.
What did you notice in the intelligence and the speed of the game as far as the players? Like, how big of a skill gap is that?
The skill gap is pretty. I mean, it's pretty big because some of these college players you see, some of them are out there, but they'll never play NFL down. And everybody in the NFL is expected to be the best.
The best, yeah.
And the biggest difference to me was in the NFL, you didn't see a lot of blown coverage and a lot of guys out of place like you'll look and see in college football.
Gotcha.
And they might have gotten better at it. But, when I was coming out, in college, guys would blow coverage in a second and leave a receiver wide open. In the NFL, you see it every now and then, but you don't see it a lot.
So the discipline and the communication. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just the football knowledge in general. If the receiver's way out here, then he's probably running something inside. Or if the receiver's way in here, then he's probably running something outside. That's how NFL see stuff like that. And in college, they didn't have that type of mindset.
All right, well, let me ask y'all these 2 quick questions. I know y'all got to go. There's an argument that Jarius Wright could play in today's game with the way he played. And I used to kind of buy into that. But when you look at some of the footwork that these cornerbacks have to experience against these receivers now, that straight line and even the cornerbacks from back then, do you feel like cornerbacks and wide receivers with the way they are could play in today's game? Because y'all footwork is crazy now.
It's It's a big difference than back when they played. A lot of this stuff were built off the straight stem and stuff like that. These days, not only cornerbacks but defensive coordinators, they're not letting you beat them like that anymore. Like cornerbacks are gonna get you off your route, so you definitely have to be able to shake and move now. And Dawsey, I mean, I try to even teach some of my receivers that now. Like, you got to be able to move people nowadays. Like, I might have an outside route, and he might be outside. Well, how am I going to move him so I can get outside? Yeah. So it would be, not to say he couldn't do it because he's a great receiver, but it would be a lot harder for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then, like, it's a lot of stuff, like, mindset-wise and mental in the game. So, like, I don't know how important or how much they taught it back then, but like hips, stretching, and just little stuff like that's gonna take you a long way. Because instead of like a DB, you backpedaling, you got to open up your hips and stuff like that. If you focused on stretching and you focus on like a certain type of stretch, off rip you got the advantage because your body's looser and stuff like that. So it's just little things like that. I don't think they paid attention to back then. Or at least treat it as important.
All right, and I know we got to go. So answer these. I want both of y'all to give me feedback on this, but I know this was for you. How much respect, and were you ever starstruck getting on the field with the Tom Brady's, the Ray Lewises? How much impact did they trash talking to Ray Lewis and the respect that Tom Brady command his knowledge? How was it like being on the field with him and just experiencing just whatever come with it? Just like, and I know with you being a receiver, Ray Lewis, that more affected you. What was it like sharing the field with those guys and hearing them and seeing them as a person?
Man, like, I wasn't really starstruck because, like I told you, when I walked in the locker room, I was with Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
I was with Percy Harvin. I was with guys, Big Kev, Jason Allen, who's one of the best sack.
Jason, yeah.
Yeah, who's one of the best, sack guys in NFL football.
Dude was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I was with those guys already. So I wasn't exactly starstruck. And most of the time in the NFL, it's not a lot of trash talk. Everybody know. I mean, like, I can call you sorry, but you in the NFL. Like, how am I call you sorry? Like, you made it here. So it's tough. It's tougher to trash talk in the NFL because everybody's supposed to be good or everybody's good. So with guys like that, man, they just showed up and handled their business. That's one thing I learned from those type of guys.
Did you ever avoid Ray Lewis?
No, I didn't. He ain't never hit me. I didn't have to deal with him like that. But just seeing those guys and the professionalism of them, making a tackle, line back up and get ready to do it again. That's just, they fit right into the business of the NFL.
And my last question for both of you guys is, Coach, and I really wish we had more time. As coaches, and even with you playing in the league and going through everything, how much harder is it for kids to make it with the transfer portal? And what would you tell these kids today who have to, how would it be harder to get noticed now? The work, the mindset, just everything. I want you guys to close us out and talk to these kids and just, because, we're in a new era. Coaches don't have to give you, we can go on the transfer, but people are building teams off the portal. So as coaches, what is your advice to kids as far as taking this serious and putting in that extra work and grind?
Let me go first. So when I was in school, the transfer portal didn't exist, and that was only like a couple years ago. So in my journey, I did transfer. So I transferred from a D2 school to a D1 school, and the way I had to do that was I kind of had to do it in secrecy because at the time you had to get I think it was like a transfer letter or something like that. You had to get it accepted by your athletic director. Yeah. So at the time, that wasn't a good look. So most of the time, if you leave and it's like you left for a reason and it wasn't good, and it's not they not accepting of your reasoning. So I think now it's wide open. And all the leverage is in the players' hands now. So I just think they just got to take it serious as far as like they resume when they there though. So like,
but what about preparation? Like, I think, everybody getting personal trainers, and I'm not saying that's what you have to do, but you got to do some extra stuff to, put you in front of people now.
But I think that's just anything you do though. Like if you want to be the best, you want to be the best carpenter. You gonna put in extra work. You gonna ask yourself questions, or you gonna figure out the ways and things to do to make yourself the guy.
Do you recommend like 7-on-7 for skilled players? Do you feel like people have to take part in that now, or going to extra camps? I'm saying, do you feel like the old school way is kind of like getting these numbers cut in half? Do you feel like there are extracurricular things that you have to do now?
I feel like you definitely have to stay active in doing something, but it just depends on like what you doing and if it's a value of that you doing it. Like you can't just be out there just throwing the ball with your homeboy and we getting in work. That's not work. Like if you got you and your receiver, your QB, oh well, let's run these routes we running the game for this week. It got to be proper preparation. It can't just be you doing stuff.
Yeah.
But I definitely think the portal helps them a lot. They need to use it to their advantage, but also don't come in there BSing and thinking you just can do whatever just because you're there.
Coach Wright, what advice would you have to these new kids in a new era of recruiting? What you got?
Well, number one, and I'll tell kids this today, like go somewhere where people want you.
Yeah.
Go somewhere where they want you, man. And if they ain't showing you that they want you bad enough, then go to a school that do. Because that's usually where you end up anyway. After you realize that school didn't want you as much, then you transfer somewhere else.
Mm.
And the transfer portal can be a good thing if it's used the right way. You can't use it to run away from somewhere. You sitting there, you ain't putting in the work, you ain't doing what you supposed to, and now you want to transfer because coach won't play you. Well, why aren't you playing? You got to look, if you're doing everything you can and you're not getting played, then, you might need to transfer. But, if I'm sitting down on Sundays and Mondays and don't have anything else to do, but I'm just watching TV, I'm not getting better at anything.
So what you're saying is, even if Alabama's offering you a scholarship, but you got to sit 2 years, if Vanderbilt's saying you can come in and play right now, as a coach, what you pitching?
Why would you waste 2 years?
Okay.
If Vanderbilt say they're going to use you, why would you waste those 2 years waiting for Alabama? You just want to go there and win? Is that what you want to do, or you want to go there and play? Because playing is what gets you in the NFL. Not winning, playing.
Yeah. So to what extent is that advice valid for you? So what if it's a D2 team that wants you to play now? What if give me a D2 team.
UAM. Monticello.
Well, let's something a little bigger. They still play on TV a little bit.
I mean, I'll start by telling you, man, you can make it from anywhere.
Okay, there
That's
you have
true.
it. They're gonna,
Yeah.
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They find talent. And if your talent is good enough, they will find you. I can promise you that.
That's true.
Especially these days. When I was coming out, it was hard to make it out of these D2, D3 systems. But today, they looking at these schools. If you out there scoring 4 touchdowns a game and 200 yards, no matter if you that good, then they will come find you.
Got you. Well, I know my guys got to go do this meeting. Man, Coach Wright, I want to let you know how much we appreciate you. And, man, listen, as a fan, it was awesome watching you do your thing at Arkansas. Man, I'm talking about them was some good years. And, man, I really think y'all wide receiver corps is probably arguably the best.
One of them for sure.
Yeah, well, they arguing that it is the best. Yeah. And then not to mention, we didn't get to cover that, but Warren starting, you a part of the reason why Warren is now being dubbed wide receiver U. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You done a lot that a lot of people wish they could just do half. So, man, big ups to you. I'm glad that we was able to give you your flowers today. Dawes?
Yeah, as a person who went to Silver Hills and seeing all the growth and stuff like that, I want to say I'm glad you're here. I appreciate the game that you be giving me when we out there coaching and stuff. And just passing on all your knowledge and stuff to the young guns when they out here too.
Facts.
Because that's needed.
For sure.
They need to see a lot of us out here.
We got to impact the youth.
Yeah.
Do what we can to impact the youth, especially, and I hate to bring race into it, especially, us black men.
Nah, that's a fact. Yeah.
Had to make sure you got your flowers and your appreciation, though.
For sure, man. I appreciate y'all.
Anything you want to say closing out?
No, like I said, I appreciate y'all having me, man, and go Bears.
Go
Already.
Bears.
Go
Hey,
Bears.
it's Coach E, and this my guy.
It's Doss.
And, man, today we had the pleasure of having Coach J Wright, or Jarius Wright, the all-time great Arkansas Razorback receiver, man. I appreciate you. And before we get up out of here, was Bobby Petrino wrong? I'm just playing. Hey, man, y'all have a blessed